7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we're live. Hello, hello. So we are live. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Let's see, we have Kathy watching from Maine. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Let's see, we'll give it just a quick couple minutes. Let some folks join us. Meanwhile, if you're joining us, please say hi to us so we can see who's here. And we've got quite a bit of new folks following us this week. So as soon as we got about cool, we got 5 folks joining us online. So we'll give it about one more minute, and then let Chris. For those of you who are new to us, Chris will kind of catch you up on who we are and what we do. So let's see here. Oh no. We're having stream issues again tonight. It's catching up. Okay, let's see here. Am I still frozen? So, why didn't you catch him up on us? I do. Okay, 1 second. Let's see here. They're saying that they can't hear you, and let's see if they can hear you now. So, can you hear Chris now? I think you should. I think. So.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Blah blah blah.
You're funny. All right, let's see here.
Hopefully so.
All right. How about that now? Can you guys hear him now? I see the bars moving, so every time that we go live, the program that we use decides to always throw a wrench at us. They'll be like, "Well, this is not going to work tonight," or "This is not going to work tonight," and we figure it out pretty quickly. But yeah, it's just one of those things. And so, thank you for bearing with us. And if either one of you could say that you can hear him or not, that would be awesome. Zach, can you hear Chris?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him now?
Oh, you froze up. Oh, good.
All right, so we have, I hope I don't mess up your name. We have Delwayne, and we have Kathy, and we have Zach, and let's see, who else do we have? I can only hear you. Yes, we can hear him. Awesome. Woohoo! All right, they can hear you, Chris, so they can hear all your corny jokes.
Good. Well, I'm corny as a freaking turd into punch bowl, I guess. I don't know.
Corny as a that's a new one. That must be a Kansas City thing. That must be a Kansas City.
Shit.
All right. Oh, and let's see. We have Nolan. Hi, Nolan. All right. So, yeah, for those of you who Zach says good to go. Awesome. I asked Zach if he wanted to be in on this tonight, and he said no. So you get a pass tonight, Zach, but maybe not in the future. We'll see. Um, all right. So for those of you who are new to us, yeah, Chris was saying that I've been doing this for a while, and I put our website link up. So if you want to know more about our history without us totally boring you on here, you can go check that out and learn more about us. And basically, our mission is super simple. As you know, we are paranormal investigators. We go out and investigate the paranormal, and I've had supernatural experiences as well. And so, yeah, we're out there just looking for more evidence, trying to find more answers, because there's no expert in this industry, and we learn something every time. Um, it's not even an industry, it's just a community, really. You know, a bunch of people with a lot of questions. And then the second part to us, oh, you're welcome, Zach, is we also try to go forth and do good and give back to the community. So you'll see when you follow our page or our Facebook that we also do monthly fundraisers. And that's just our way of trying to give back to the community. And so everybody has a say in who and what we go and fundraise for, and it's all dependent on what everybody wants to do. So if it's totally voluntary, it's just something that we do, and so yeah, that's the two things. And so we do this every Friday night, 8 o'clock, unless something happens or we go on vacation, like I've already done once, and I'll be doing again next month. And then, when are you going on vacation, Chris?
Not anytime soon. I think like August sometime.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make a trip out to go visit my mom and all that stuff. So
Kansas City Paracon is coming up. So speaking of events, any of the events that we're doing that Chris mentioned, if you want to keep up with what we're doing, they're on our page. We don't hold these events. We always go to other people's events, because that takes a lot of work putting on events, and it's just the two of us. So we go to other places, and we've gotten to know some teams here in Virginia where we're at, and they do a bang up job of holding these events, and so no complaints. They keep us busy, as you can see. And then I just drew a blank.
Oh, but so speaking of which, the charity we're teaming up with for this month, it's distracted driving. So basically, I know all you guys need to stay off your phones when you're driving. I almost got killed like about the middle of the week by somebody that was on their freaking cell phone, like freaking doing whatever, and it's a big old truck. It's like, so please, it's like, stay off your cell phones, stay safe, and text when you're like parked, But this is a great charity. I mean, because they're raising money to raise awareness about this. So anything you can do is awesome, and greatly appreciate, because none of the stuff goes to us; it goes directly to them. We're just a conduit to assisting these charities.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like, I mean, Melissa's like getting a whole bunch of new stuff, so it's gonna be pretty interesting, some of the equipment we get, and plus I'm bored. I'm almost there and getting some more stuff too. So I mean, to add to our like freaking arsenal to like freaking investigate and stuff. So this is gonna be like totally awesome.
Yeah. But one of the things that I'm working on building. Hang on, before I choke myself while I grab to reach it. Oh, hang on.
The SLS. Yep.
I've been putting this together, and I promise we'll talk about our topic here shortly. So a lot of you guys have seen the SLS. So this will hold the tablet. This is the Xbox 360 Connect, and this is the battery source. And so you just carry it around like this. I've been kind of MacGyvering that. I'm hoping to improve it. There's there's folks out there that have definitely improved the design, but I already had the parts on hand, and so I wanted to challenge myself and put it together. And so far, I've succeeded. I just need to make it a little bit more pretty. But I've been working on that. But we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and yeah, like Chris said, I've definitely got the itch to go investigate because I've been sitting idle and I want to go out. So our next one is on June 29th. So, let's see here. Chris is like, this is Chris. Sorry for being too loud. No, it's like I said, it's just, tweaking things on our end. All right.
True.
So, the big topic of tonight, I talk a lot, and Chris doesn't talk enough, so I'm going to have to goat him to talk tonight. And I think that's a good segue into one of our topic of the night.
Oh man, the Men Who Stare at Goats. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie because it's like, well, it's because like bear with me because this is like old internet research, so it's not actual data that I actually have on hand or have knowledge of, but basically, of course, our government was always competing with the Soviet Union back during the Cold War days in order to do remote viewing, which is also known as. It started out with it was pardon me. It was Ultra, and then it morphed into what's called Project Stargate, which is basically used remote viewing in order to sight out like Soviet Union missile sites, along with any other type of dangerous elements that may pose a danger to our national security. So, trying to remember what the dudes. Hold on, bear
I'm
with
bringing
me.
it up to help you because this is a lot of information to memorize. But
there we go. So it started in the 1970s. So basically, the United States intelligence sources thought that the Soviets were spending about approximately 60 million rubles every year in order to partake in this program in order to basically. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to fix your screen and it went into something else. I'm sorry, guys. I interrupted you. Go ahead, Chris.
So basically, in order to counteract that, the CIA and started funding a new program known as called Scanate or Scan by Coordinate. So basically, in order to find all these different places, and it was began at the Stanford Research Institute in Menlo Park, California, and the proponents were somebody named Russell Targ and Harold Hudoff. Said the minimum accuracy rate of 65% was required by the clients in order to exceed meet expectations. But essentially, as time went on, basically all this research consolidated was called Project Stargate. So basically, and then became integrated into something called Girlframe back in '83. In '85, the Army funding was terminated, and it got resignated by the Defense Intelligence Agency Scientific and Technical Direct Intelligence Directorate. Then '91, pretty much, it got transferred again to SAIC, or known as the Science Applications International Corporation, which SAIC is big heavily into communications and things of that nature. And of course, they're a big government contractor within the government. So, but of course, it terminated back in '95, and basically declassified all the documents for basically viewing for anybody who wants to look further into it.
So, yeah, all of this info is on the internet, but we find it super cool. Let's talk about some fun stuff, because you just spouted off a whole bunch of facts, and people are like,
whoa.
They're like, dude, what do I care about this? All right, so remote viewing is, we actually know a person, I know a couple people that and can do it. They can sit here, right? Let's just say I can remote view. I can sit here, if you're not familiar with the concept, and I can feasibly see what's going on at your house if I chose you as a subject. Or I may not be able to see the exact details, but I can kind of give you an idea of the situation of what's going on, right? And so, an example of how the government wanted to use this, and let me see if I can screen share with you. Yes. Okay. So let me just organize it a little bit better for you, and we'll shoot over to this. So during the Cold War, there was a plane that went down in the Amazon, right? And the Americans were like, we need to know more about this. And we're not going to track down to the Amazon on a wild, silly goose chase just to go find this plane. So what can we do? And we're like, remote viewing. And this stuff was pretty popular back then, especially, I mean, it just, I think began like in the 50s, like you said, Chris. It was common household talk, the psychics and things like that. And so it's kind of funny that, since then it got a little taboo, and now it's not so taboo anymore. But let's show you what I'm talking about over here. They found a Soviet bomber. And this is just one of the websites where we pulled some information from. Let me make sure I'm not losing you guys in the weeds here. And basically, in the 1970s, and I'll scroll down. Hopefully you guys can see it. Looks a little blurry. I hope not. Started off at Fort George Meade in Maryland, so not too far from where we are. And they hired this person, right, to be like, tell us what you see. Now, they didn't give the exact coordinates. They just said, it looks to be in about this area. They gave some, I think it was some landmarks. And she drew some maps, like you'll see on the screen that it says. And from that point, she was accurate within a few miles. Now, mind you, this person never been there. She's never seen this place. So I think that's pretty darn cool that she was able to say, this is where the plane went down. And so that's just one way that the government has used remote viewing to talk about psychic, or not talk about psychics, to use the talent of a psychic. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then Chris was talking about the men. So the movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats. Everybody thinks George Clooney, right? Chris loves that movie. I can't share.
It's hilarious.
I've never seen it, so I'll have to take his word on it. I have never seen it. George Clooney's pretty cute. I might have to. I'm sure that's why you watched it, right, Chris?
Yep, definitely.
Because he's just so darn cute. I mean, Amal might have to pass him over one of these nights and be like, Amal, I know, our internet. So, when the internet comes back and you see us 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live, my power went off. The whole neighborhood lost power. At least a mile or two lost power. So I was scrambling, and now every night there's always something. So if you're still with us, you're super patient, and I thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, stress is a booger.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris is usually the one that will keep me from not
on
stressing
track.
out.
Squirrel.
Well, yeah, he has squirrel moments. He'll like to go, but then he's like, Mel, chill out. And I'm like, that's why you're on my team, buddy. That's why we are teammates. And that's why I recruited him to join me on this crazy train. So.
Yeah, because she thought I was a scientist. Yeah, and I'm a retired meteorologist from the Navy, so. Yeah.
He He keeps
I'm
saying
just,
that, but I told him why I recruited him to join me on this crazy train. What did I tell you?
you told me I'm one of the true trustworthy people that I guess I won't think you're old baddie. But of course we have a good sense of humor, and I guess we got a good blend, so we go on and all that good jazz.
Yeah, when you're out doing this stuff, you need somebody that you can trust because, and we're just sidebarring here from the crazy topic tonight. When you're going out and doing what we're doing, you need to trust that whoever's out there with you has got your back. And Chris might be goofy sometimes, but I know that if
I'm a jackass.
I know that if shit hits the fan, he's not going to leave me hanging. He'll probably he'll probably drop a brick or two. But no, I know that I can trust him. So and that's really what you want when you go out and do this stuff is you want people that you can trust. And so going on month 3 now, he hasn't run for the hills. So I'd say that's
nope. Unless it's a fucking spider, I will fucking run because of spiders, man. No. Spiders, no.
I'll just sit there and look at it because I have the view. I don't like spiders. I don't think they should cohabitate with me. I think I think they should be outside and I'm inside or wherever I'm at. I don't want to cohabitate with them, but I think they have a place because they eat the nasty bugs and all that stuff. So let them do their job. Just let them do it at a distance from me.
I'll scream like a little girl.
So I'm the one that has to wrangle the spider while he's sitting there screaming like a girl. Imagine that. But then again,
break out a little chocolate.
What?
Break out the lost chocolates. The sandals.
No. No. All right. So getting back to the men who stare at goats.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yep.
So they thought using ESP, extrasensory perception, I believe, they thought that by the power of mind, if they stared at them long enough, they could kill the goat. Well, that was the experiment. And when I was reading, there was one necropsy report where they said, he did not witness the experiment, but he witnessed the autopsy or I think it's necropsy when you do it on animals, but the animal, when they were autopsying it, he witnessed that it looked like a bullet had gone straight through the goat, but yet there was no evidence of an entry or an exit wound. And so he was pretty darn impressed by that. Did you read about that one, Chris?
Which one?
The goat that had the bullet zing right through it, but there was no entry or exit point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's insanity. It's like... this is one of those weird things you just can't really make heads or tails of,
I think it's interesting.
Crazy.
So, right here on my screen, it's interesting because we talk about how this happened back in the 70s and how they said that they decommissioned the project around the 80s or the 90s, right? And so we're under the impression that this stuff is really not going on anymore. Wrong. Or at least according to this. I guess it's according to this, and I'm reading, presently the Office of Naval Research, we're Navy, so I guess we can own, like, woo woo, good boys. The Office of Naval Research calls this program anomalous mental cognition, and that's the program that they're working on now. $3.9 million program founded by ONR, Office of Naval Research, in 2014. So 5 years ago to investigate the existence of precognition. So precognition is able to foretell things that will happen, which they refer to as a spidey sense. And I hear that word so often.
Mhm.
My spidey sense is tingling. I get the spidey sense. I don't call it the spidey sense. And yeah, some things do make you tingle. Sometimes it's not a good tingle, and sometimes you're like, huh. There was one time my whole body tingled. That was not pleasant, and that was when I came back from St. Albans. It's good times.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you tell
like
them
bring a
about?
little bit of hitchhiker with you.
Yeah, that's good times.
Hmm.
Tell them about your spidey sense.
Let's see. I guess I first experienced it at the Old Fauquier County Jail, and this is during ST session. I guess I started picking up. It was like I guess you'd say I just started picking up like a dude. I guess who freaking used me to speak through me, you know. And this is I guess it kind of leads into the ESP and all that stuff. You know, I didn't know I really had it, until I was deprived of my senses, like my hearing, and I was also kind of so dead tired, blindfolded, and basically I guess this dude is like an angry cuss, just cursing and carrying on. Didn't like Melissa and the other person all that much, so but they were getting a lot of pickups through that, and of course if you carry on at 360, the cabin on 360, same thing, I mean, he wasn't as angry, but he is definitely feisty.
Well, I mean,
So I guess I tend to pick up things.
It's theorized that everybody has the ability to have some sort of psychic ability, but they just don't tap into it, or they repress it, or it's not developed. And the idea is that everybody's born with it, and it's potentially the strongest when you're a kid. I've witnessed, my own daughter, she could do things, and now she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, well, it was about the age of 8 or 9. It kind of just went, whoop. So I don't know if she just, because she was in the environment for it to be fostered. I mean, look who she has as a ROM.
Yeah.
But yeah, she apparently, the things that she used to talk about doesn't happen anymore. But the idea is that everybody has this, and so it's interesting that Chris talks about, I never knew I had this. Well, it's been there the whole time, buddy. You just didn't know how to tap into it. And one of his strengths is being a receiver, which relates back to this whole, ESP and telepathy. And the government thought, okay, well, let's take people and let's build this up. Let's strengthen that talent and let's use it, right? Because if we can see what's going on in foreign enemy territory without us having to go there, well then, woohoo! So, hey, you can't hate them for trying. But this person right here in 2006, Army Staff Sergeant Martin Richburg, look, Chris and I have both been in situations, and you just get that feeling, you're like, I should not be here. And we're not the only ones. You don't have to go into a bad environment, such as, a war-torn area, because nobody wants to be there, right?
No.
But let's just say you're walking down the sidewalk. And have you ever seen those videos where a car jumps off and goes onto the sidewalk and misses a person by just a hair, but they just happen to move out of the way just in time? Or would you say that maybe they had some spidey sense kick in? Maybe they had their intuition, or maybe they had, a slight primitive precognition to say, I need to get the heck out of Dodge because something bad's about to happen. We're learning so much about the human brain every day. And I'm still trying to pick this guy's brain to get him to talk more, because I talk too much, and I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to let him do a little talking.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like, I mean, sometimes like you'll have like a dream, like you've been someplace before, it's like deja vu, you know, that's that type of feeling, you know, and it's like, oh my God, I've never been here before, but it's like somehow I know it, you know, I don't know, it's like crazy stuff, you know, and let's see what else here,
Well, I mean,
but
so
yeah,
this this army soldier, they put him, as you can see in the picture on the screen. They put him. It looks like he was. I don't know. Well, Chris and I have both had sleep tests. It seems like one of those things that you just automatically get after you leave the military, because we all have sleep apnea.
CPAP machine, yeah.
Did you get this guy? They hooked him up to a bunch of electrodes on his head, and they were trying to figure out how in the world did this happen? Like, how do we harness this?
Yeah, it's all just to measure the brainwave activity within the guy's head. So basically, I focus on those certain areas, or basically map out the brain in order to freaking focus on those areas in order to tap into like what the true power of the psychic reading was, you know, or remote viewing.
Let's see here. I'm gonna bring up another article.
So I mean, it's,
Cool. While you're talking.
but yeah, it's like a lot of studies and things that go on discovering like how the human brain works, you know, because I mean, there's still a lot of unknown territory still, you know. I mean, even though there's been a lot of progress, but I mean, it's just like it's still like one of the frontiers, you know, like our oceans and space and stuff. A lot of it's unexplored and stuff, like completely mapped out by others, you know, especially with scientists and stuff.
Yeah. So, let's see here. Does anybody have any questions so far? I want to make sure that we're not. I know let's see, the chat room has been a little bit quiet here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Who do we still have with us? Zach, are you still here?
Navy Chief, Navy Pride.
I know. I'm sure he doesn't want to be called out. But I already called him out once. It's like, hey, you know, why don't you go live with us? And he's like, gee, thanks. Sorry about that. All right, this little screen here. So I pulled this up because this is an old Science Times. I don't have a subscription, so it's probably not going to let me bring it up. This article was dated 1984. And it says Pentagon is said to focus on ESP for wartime use. Now, that would have been Gulf War #1, right? Right about that time?
84?
Yeah.
No, it's still in the Cold War. 84 was the Cold War.
Okay.
So you're for the Gulf War is about 1990, 91.
Could have sworn there was something before that. See, I am not the history buff. This is another forte that I rely on Chris. He is the history buff.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can talk all the spiritual stuff and metaphysical stuff, and if you want to know what kind of crystals or what you should smudge with, again, not the expert, but I know quite a bit. And if I don't know it, I know where to point you to. But he can spout off history details like nobody's business.
Yeah, so 85, like the Iran-Contra hearings, remember that? Oliver North and all that
I
jazz.
was 7 years old, and I don't remember that.
Yeah, so I was in the 5th grade. I still remember that. That was Reagan, you know, so I know that stuff. And of course, you had what was I think it was, well, the war, the tanker wars, I guess, during the 80s, well, when basically Iran and Iraq were like going at each other, like sinking their freighters and stuff like that, you know, or met oil from being shipped all over the world. Probably today.
Is that when
Yeah.
we had to evacuate our embassies over there?
That was 79 during
Okay,
Jimmy Carter. That's when the Ayatollah Khomeini took over.
gotcha. 70. I was a year old. How old were you?
Yeah, but I was, let's see, about 5.
No.
Yeah, so, but, of course, I read up a lot of history and stuff like that, and I keep on, like, that type of stuff, so.
Yep. So it says here, and so back in the day in '84, the Pentagon spent millions and millions of dollars, according to this. It says 3 new reports on secret projects to investigate ESP and to see if the sheer power of the human mind can be harnessed to perform various acts of espionage and war, penetrating secret files, for example, locating submarines or blowing up guided missiles in mid-flight. So I guess that's why they had men staring at goats. Let's stare at goats so we can stare at missiles and blow them up. But now we have lasers.
Well, because the freaking the Soviets had they could hide their submarines pretty well. Like they're ultra quiet. So this is the one way to find them.
Didn't they actually? Somebody actually, a remote viewer said, "Hey, I mean, they couldn't see the exact details, but they said, I see this thing. It's got this, and hang on, it was at the very beginning." They talked about fins. Or was it the last article? Oh, I hope I'm not making people screen sick while I'm scrolling. But the guy's like, I see this thing, it has fins on it. And turns out he described the nuclear sub that they were building.
Oh, you're talking about the Typhoon class or Oscar class?
Again, I'm horrible citing. That's why I'm trying to bring it up. I have all these articles that I had bookmarked.
Because I don't know if you've all seen the Hunt for Red October, but Typhoon class is the largest ballistic submarine built by the Soviet Union back in the 80s.
It was the first nuclear one that they had. Which one was that?
Oh, you're talking about the.
Here it is. Here it is. I found it. It was the men who stared at goats. So while concentrating on a photo in a closed envelope, one of the unit's members described seeing a building on a shoreline which smelled of gas and industrial products. Inside the building was a large coffin-like object, a weapon, with fins like a shark. Yeah, it was the Typhoon class. It said a few months later, the CIA received satellite imagery showing that the Soviets had constructed a new ballistic missile submarine, later made famous by its NATO designation, the Typhoon class. The hulking nuclear sub was known in the USSR as the Akula, Russian, I hope I said that right, Russian for shark. I memorized the picture, not details.
Yeah, so I mean, if you've seen the Hunt for Red October, then that's exactly what the Typhoon class looks like, and it's a freaking wow. I mean, I love submarines. Well, I wouldn't want to be on a submarine, but submarines are that submarine was freaking cool to how big it was.
Hi, Millie. How are you? So Millie joined us. Yay!
Around.
Man, I was hoping Karen was super excited. Karen, are you here with us? Karen was saying, I hope I can make it, and we hope you made it. We hope we're seeing you, or you're seeing us. But if not, you guys, you can always play us back later. So.
Yeah, we got around. We're recording it, so all's cool.
Yeah, and so on most nights, so July is going to be humming with us because we have 2 investigations back to back. Actually, June 29th, then July 13th, and July 20th. So within a month time frame, within 4 weeks, we're hitting 3 investigations, and we normally only do 1. So we're gonna, and 2 of those are
Busy.
over. Yeah, 2 of those are
Busier
over.
one
Right?
Yeah, busier one-legged man in ass-kicking contest.
Yes. And so, all right, Henricus is an old colonial settlement, and it also has some Native American background there too. So don't know what we're gonna run into. And I'm shifting away from this stuff because it seems like you guys might be growing bored of us talking about all this hokey government stuff. I don't know. I think it's cool. But not everybody thinks it's cool. I don't know. But we're gonna have a lot of evidence to show you guys, like a lot. So,
Yeah, I'll probably take a little bit of a time.
Here, go ahead. I can't hear you right now because I got my headphones pulled out. I'm gonna pull out the new thermal and show that off. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hang on with me 1 second.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be definitely some exciting events coming up. You know, of course, we have a lot more data to analyze. And,
Jeez.
yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. And plus, of course, she's got the itch to, like, freaking go and investigate stuff. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. So
this is how tiny it is, and it's in its little case. It's made by Seek. The guys on Ghost Adventures use this. So if you're familiar with Zach Bagans and all of them, this is what they use whenever you're seeing their thermal. It's really tiny. So here's an iPhone X, and this is how small it is.
Oh, well, look at you upgrade, huh?
I've had this. What are you talking about? Oh, look at you, you've upgraded. And so, yeah, it plugs in just like this. Doo-doo-doo. And, alright, let's see. Can you guys see my big old... Let me turn on the screen so I can see what I'm showing you. Alright, oh, you know what? It might help if I go back to this. Alright, there we go. Ooh, and Chris's big old fat head on the screen. Hang on.
Oh, well, you call me fat?
I didn't mean it like that. I'm talking about the screen is super large. Oh.
Okay.
You mean like my daughter who says, Mommy.
No. Don't go there.
But Mommy, I like you like that. My daughter called me chubby. I was like, what? All right.
I didn't say it. You did.
I know I did. All right, let's see here. So, how about that? You guys are seeing my eyeball on thermal.
It's so cool. Literally.
Oh, wait a minute. That's my mouth. That's my mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm not full of hot air. And there's...
Been eating fucking ice cubes?
No, well, and there's my eyeballs. They're all hot. So, pretty psyched. Because Chris has got 2, and then this one, and they're, different devices have different strengths. Chris, I think yours has more distance, but this one has better clarity, I think.
Yeah, your resolution is a lot better.
So pretty excited about using this. And then, of course, testing out the new SLS. And what else have I ordered? Because Amazon's been visiting my house, like, daily. Did I order anything new? I think we have everything that everybody could possibly want. We have multiple digital multimeters. We have the Mel meter that you see on shows. We have the SLS. We have the thermal. We have the Spirit Box. Multiple digital recorders. A camcorder that's infrared and full spectrum. Body cam. Chris has also got a GoPro.
GoPro.
Yeah.
And then I got Well, I still got to order the freaking wireless security thing with the night vision.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, I'll get that. You know, and add that to the lineup, so we'll have like a whole crap load of stuff.
Smorgasbord. And honestly, a lot of the time we don't use everything everywhere that we go. We walk into a situation, we see, okay, what's kind of the vibe and what are we getting the best results with, and then we grab out the tools that are working for us best that night and leave the rest in our literal toolbox.
Yeah, especially like for the past couple of places we've been, we found the noise cancellation headphones by Bose, along with the Spirit Box and the recorders, tend to work best, especially during our EV or SD sessions.
Yep, and actually, I've been watching a lot of people. There's a spirit. No, there's not. Just the mag light. So I had it set to sensitive, so it's going on and off on me. I've noticed that when they recently did a thing at Dunlora, they were using that, and we weren't there, not for this most recent one, when Porter and Stephanie Burke were there, and John Tenney. Yeah, so they did table tipping, so that was kind of cool watching the videos from that. Yeah, every experience is a brand new experience, so
every place is unique.
Absolutely. What's your favorite place that we've been to so far?
Oh, I did like the Cabin on 360.
I knew that was coming.
Because it was, well, I mean, just history behind that place is just like freaking crazy. You know, it's like you had like the 7 days battle from the Civil War happen there, and then of course you had they had the murder house, where
it's the rancher. You always call it the murder house, and that makes me cringe. But
well, I mean that's what they call it. You know, that's what I heard it being called. You know, so but of course you had that girl, you know, being murdered and raped by her freaking stepbrother. You know, no relation, of course, but it's like, it's just, you know, those type of places you like find the craziest things. You know.
I think.
And of course
Cabin on 360 was cool, but I think my favorite location was probably Fauquier Jail so far, just experience-wise.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, they made some tasty cupcakes.
So if you're ever in Virginia, all these places that we're talking about are in Virginia, and so there's Cabin on 360. That's in Mechanicsville, Virginia. Then there's the old Fauquier Jail. They usually do one overnighter a year. They do mini sessions. Like I think they're having one, if not tonight, sometime soon, or it just happened. But you can go in there. There's tons of stuff going on there. Belgrove Plantation, which we have not been to yet. We're looking into it. They're actually in about 10 minutes getting ready to do a live hunt, and the people from FPRI are leading that one up. Fredericksburg Paranormal Research Investigations. Haven't met them, but yeah, they've been working with Michelle out there at Belgrove. So Michelle, if you're watching, we're gonna get out there sometime soon. We just, we got to figure it out. Let's see here, Dunlora, that's in Mineral, Virginia. Henricus is in Chesterfield. Hanover Tavern is in Hanover, Virginia. Scotchtown, that is Thomas Jefferson's, right?
Yeah.
That was Thomas Jefferson's homestead, so that's down in the Richmond area. We'll be going there. Heard some pretty cool stuff about that place and Hanover. So I'm looking forward to showing you all the evidence that we bring back from that, because I heard it does not disappoint when it comes to experiences. Not that I ever want to get scratched, but from the people I've talked to, they said that they've definitely encountered that. So maybe Chris will get scratched.
If I scratch something, that's due to my own fault, man.
I'm like, here, Chris, you go. I don't I don't like messing. So, one of the things that you guys should know about us is that when we go on an investigation, we do not provoke. We don't poke the bear, and the reason why is we regard spirits as though they are ancestors, friends, family members, strangers that we've never met in the living, but they're no different, you know. Yeah, there's occasionally some bad stuff hanging out there, but I like to believe that the majority of the things that we encounter are once upon a time living people, and just because they pass away doesn't mean those emotions or feelings go away. And so, um, when Chris first came on board, and so you guys watch a lot of people on TV, and you see people going, "I demand you to do this," and we're like, well, first of all, imagine these locations where everybody's going. They're probably, I already did that tonight. Whatever. What do you think I am, like a circus pony? No. I would get totally annoyed. I'd be like, you want me to do a song and a dance? I just did that for the group that just came through here. Whatever.
Yeah.
I also would not walk up to somebody on the street and start yelling in their face and start cussing at them. So if I'm not going to do that to somebody who's living and breathing, I'm not going to do it to somebody who used to be. Because if you want a bad experience, I mean, just think about it. If you walk up to somebody on the street and you start cussing at them, what do you think is going to happen? So,
you get your butt yelled at.
You'll get your butt out, or you might get punched in the face or something. So just imagine how a spirit might feel.
Throat punch.
Yeah. So that's our personal philosophy. And so we're not out there to encounter the bad stuff. We're out there to learn. And we're out there to find more information. And it's kind of like connecting with your ancestors. That's the way I view it, at least. So.
Yeah. I mean, you treat others as you would expect to be treated. Versus respect.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because you don't want to go out there and friggin' start spouting off and start ticking things off, and of course you're not getting much of a response, if you do that, because it's just plain crazy. So I mean, you're gonna get the best response when you treat things with respect.
Yeah, and then they just cuss me out. But he was cussing.
Exactly.
Tom.
That one made that was the ghost.
So at Fauquier Jail, when Chris was acting as a receiver, and we've talked about this before, we just talk about it because it's probably one of the coolest experiences for me to witness with him, and probably some of the most feedback I've gotten. But this guy, he was lively, I'll tell you what. And he just, we need more experiences like that because, gosh, he's becoming famous because we're always talking about him. Tom the spirit, he was all pissed off because he couldn't come back to life, and so I busted that bubble for him, and then he started cussing me out, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, but what can we do to help you? Do you want to go? And he just wasn't having it, so I said, okay, well, it's time to move on. Nope. You're not going to keep taking our energy just to mess with us. So
yeah, it's pure entertainment, I'll give him that.
And we also learned a lot of lessons from that one too, because during that we recorded the spirit box output, but we never recorded what Chris was saying. Well, no, it was recorded. We just relied on somebody else to record it, and so now we've learned to always have multiple digital
recording devices.
Going. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that way we can hear all facets of what's going on. We can hear it from Chris's perspective. You can hear it from my perspective. We can sync it up and all sorts of stuff. So, lesson learned. Again, like I said, we're learning every time we go out. But,
oh, yeah.
and hopefully, I haven't heard back from Zach yet, but hopefully, maybe Zach will be joining us soon on one of our crazy pursuits. I don't know. You might see us grow. We don't know. Let's see here. So before we wrap up, was there any I know we kind of bounced back and forth on the government thing. But essentially, um, everybody thinks that the government is so rigid and so conservative. There's a lot of stuff going on that that um, and let's not get the tinfoil hats out either, because we're not talking tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff. We're talking about stuff, these were once upon a time classified things. They're now declassed. Um, but it's just really interesting to see how it's being recognized and how they're trying to utilize it too, for sometimes things we may agree with, sometimes we may not agree with. They're going to do what they're going to do. And so I just think it's really interesting. How about you, Chris?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's so much to be, so much history and so much things to be explored. Unknown things, known things. There's just like a whole slew of things that just need to be like basically uncovered. And that's the thing I find that's so cool about it. It's like you don't know a lot of like the history until you actually like hear it from the disembodied spirits or whatever, from themselves.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
That's what I find so cool about it.
For sure. And even with the government trying to use this stuff to, let's just imagine that, somebody's missing. The police departments use it all the time. Well, I say all the time, but you hear about it. You hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, if used for a good purpose, I think it's pretty awesome. But if we're going to use it for negative purposes, I don't condone that. Not me personally. I don't. Look, I try to go do good in the world. I don't want to promote bad stuff and bad juju, because I believe it. Whatever bad you put out there comes back on you just 3 times. The rule of 3 comes back on you 3 times harder.
Yep.
So, yeah, I like to avoid that. So, with that said, we usually run about an hour for those of you who are new to us or those who will catch up and watch this later. And so we usually go from 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock. I don't know what the topic's going to be next Friday. Definitely getting itchy to go investigate and talk to our ancestors and talk to, and see what they have to say. It's like opening up a talking history book, like Chris said. So I want to learn more and I want to get out there. And June 29th cannot come fast enough.
Oh, I know. You're itching.
Yeah. But with that said, if anybody's got any questions, feel free. You can also hop in and ask us questions anytime. If you have some topics you would like to learn more about, shoot us a direct message, a DM, IM, whatever folks are calling it nowadays. And yeah, we'll toss it out there and we'll talk about anything you want us to talk about. And if we don't know about it, we'll learn more and we'll learn with you.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's probably not one of our most lively episodes, but wait until we get some more evidence. Then we'll start showing you videos and sound clips and Chris cussing or me getting cussed out. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Probably you getting cussed out.
At Henricus, I don't know.
You never know.
I am a kind of a progressive chick, so the conservative men have a hard time with me.
Oh, I'm conservative and I deal with you, so.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like circa colonial era and 1800s get dudes. I'm progressive.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
All right, folks. Well, it's been fun, and we will see you again next week. And hopefully, I will shut up more, and Chris will talk more.
I do occasionally. Just gotta get me rolling. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I don't know. Let's see. What kind of joke do you have for signing off tonight? You got a joke?
Shoot. Caught me off guard. I don't have a really
Oh, I
final one.
caught him off guard.
Dang it. Shoot.
He's normally not.
I'll
like,
think of something next time.
we used to get yelled at for being chatty Cathy's at work when we worked together.
Oh, yeah. I was a meme king. I like to post memes all over the place. Go home, goat, you're drunk.
All right, folks. Well, we're signing off.
Yeah.
And we hope that you have a great Friday evening and a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you again next week.
Next Friday.
Yeah?
Yep. See y'all next Friday.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for joining.
Yep. Thank you. Bye, guys.